This episode is brought to you by Homemade. What is Homemade?
Well, glad you asked. Homemade is a turnkey house flipping service we've built to solve the needs of aspiring flippers like you who want to get started in house flipping but want to do it with the backing of a professional and experienced team.
We've designed Homemade so that our team will be with you through every step of the house flipping journey.
Our team will deliver investment-grade properties straight to your inbox,
Work with you to design your project to maximize ROI,
oversee all the renovations, and handle all permitting requirements.
and along the way, we'll hook you up with our vetted network of service providers to help finance, insure, and stage your property.
Once the project is wrapped, we'll be with you arm in arm to execute your exit plan, whether that's through a sale as a flip or holding the property in your personal portfolio as either a long or short-term rental.
At Homemade, we've taken the outdated and frustrating house flipping process and turned it into a seamless and rewarding experience so that novice and even seasoned flippers can have access to this investment class without having to delve too deep into the nitty-gritty everyday headaches that this business often entails.
At Homemade, we do the heavy lifting for you. So if you've always wanted to flip a house, head on over to homemade.co to learn more about our platform and apply to work with us.
That's homemade.co. Peace.
Hey, Flipsters, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Lincoln, and we are happily married.
But not to each other.
Yeah, we're old friends from college, and we're flipping houses in the Austin, Texas area.
And we're taking you along for the ride. All right. Hey, Flipsters, welcome back. Episode 6. Can you believe it?
Episode 6 of the Austin Flipsters podcast.
We have lasted 6 episodes, people.
Thanks for sticking with it, you guys. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, get subscribed.
Yes. So how are things? Are you ready for Christmas?
Yeah, we're doing this in late December. We're about a week out from Christmas. I'm getting ready.
Are you all, you've got all your gifts?
My wife has gotten all our gifts. And then it's a burden because you got to get the wife a gift. That's my only responsibility.
Poor you.
Yeah.
Have you seen that SNL Mom on Christmas skit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The family's doing everything.
The family's like, I got a drone. I got a toy. I got a whatever. I got this robe. It's like,
yeah.
It goes on and on and on. She just gets the robe and the empty flat stocking.
That is, yeah.
You have stocking gifts?
No, of course not.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Get on it.
No, but you know what? We have stuff that we need, we just buy, and then it can be from the other one. I do it too. I'm like, yeah, I need some new shoes, so I just get the ones I want, and I don't mind delaying wearing them for a week. So it's just like, here you go.
So you buy it, you give it to her to wrap up, and you act surprised.
Yeah, she does it too. We're in on it. This is how late.
Do you get anything that you don't know what it is?
Rarely.
Really?
One year we got each other a mattress. We were both stoked. We were so stoked to have a new mattress because it was like we were sleeping so poorly.
You're officially old.
I know.
You gonna get a vacuum this year? Or
no.
A toaster oven?
No. We have a cleaner for that. Neither of us know how to vacuum. What are you? Are you prepared? Are you the one? Are you having to do all this shopping?
I got a lot done this weekend. So still need to wrap some things, but I think I'm done. I'm officially like stopping spending money. That's my, I get to that point where it's like, enough's enough. Yeah. Let's just be done here. But
yeah, we also figured out too that we're not doing it this year, but giving our kids a vacation is also a hack, because we were like, maybe gonna do a spring break trip anyway, but
get some mileage out of it.
Mileage out of that. Pro tip for y'all out there. That's how you save money on the Christmas gifts.
We are doing that since this will come out in January. It's safe to say we're doing the same thing with a phone for my daughter. Oh. We're like thinking about getting her a phone anyway. And we're like, well, if we do this, we get some Christmas mileage out of it. So
cheap. You're cheap. You're so cheap.
There you go.
Oh man.
But then that's the problem. You get the phone, then you got to get something else equally valuable for the other ones because they know.
Oh, they know.
Point.
They know.
That's the trade-off.
I know. We had the same thing. My son needs a new phone, and I was like, he's got a birthday in February, man. You gotta stretch this out, think about the long game.
Mine has a January birthday, which I haven't thought about. I'm like, we'll figure that out in January.
How was you just had a birthday too?
I did just have a birthday.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Entering into my last year in the 30s.
Wow. So old.
So I'm so old.
We didn't ask Massiel, how are you ready for Christmas? This is producer Massiel. Are you getting ready for you're taking a trip with your boyfriend, right?
Yes. So we have already opened presents, me and him.
Already?
Oh.
Whoa.
So I don't
What'd you get?
Well, okay, I got I got a few things. I actually can't remember them because I feel like I'm put on the spot now.
Yeah, whoops, sorry.
He bought me new shoes.
Very meaningful. Did you pick them out?
I did.
See,
Okay.
everyone does it. Everyone gets what they want and
The
then
magic of Christmas
has their partner
dead.
give it to them.
Yeah. I got shoes. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. I feel so bad, Chris. If you're listening, I
Well, it's
appreciate
okay.
all the gifts.
She loved everything you
We
get.
got to see Chris at the Christmas party. Had a lot of fun with him. That was a good time.
Yeah, he was doing great. But yes, to answer your question, we're traveling to Lubbock, my hometown, and then we're going to his parents' house in Burnett, Texas. So lots of traveling. Plot twist: we don't know if we have a car to drive it.
Oh.
His car is currently in the shop, and. It's always the thing where you take it to do one thing.
Yeah. And then there's 30
all
other
the other
things.
things.
Yeah.
So we don't know if we'll have a car for Christmas. So either way, we're going to try and get there. Stay tuned on how we get there.
Are you going to do the Lexus December to remember and just
maybe
put
a
a
big
giant
bow.
bow on a new car and that can be
Oh my
your
gosh.
present?
Maybe
I
this
wonder
is
if
all
we
a
could
setup.
What if we can prank our parents if we get a rental car?
Yeah, you
this is
should
my
get-
new car.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a good idea. All right.
Let us know how that goes.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Speaking of the Christmas party, you met a fan at the Christmas party. Somebody ran into you and recognized you at our Christmas event. And
I met a couple fans.
yeah, you were getting recognized right and left out in downtown Austin.
Yeah, no, it was the craziest thing. We check into our hotel where our party was downtown. Check into our hotel, and the girl was like, Austin Flipsters. As soon as I just like walked up, it was like automatic. And I was like, whoa. Hey, yeah,
Back
hey.
up off.
She was really awesome. Shout out Karen. But yeah, no, it was funny because that does not happen very often. And then
She
it happened
hooked you
twice
up with
in a row.
a sweet room, didn't she?
Yeah, well, she did. She was like, can I give you this? Or she was like talking to her associate or whatever. And she's like, I think we should put him in this room. And then I get the key and it says 3, 2, 1. So
Oh, man. She's
Yeah.
a big fan. Big
Yes.
fan. That's the big reveal countdown.
yes, the big reveal. So that was fun. And then we went to a bar ahead of the party.
Yeah.
And as we were leaving, a server who was not our server, but a different one, came up to me and was like, I'm a huge fan of the show. And I've been fangirling on your partner.
Oh.
And yeah, which I guess is you.
I would hope so, yeah.
And she was like, it's so funny because on the show you say you're happily married, but not to each other. And here you were with your spouses.
It's true.
It's true.
Our spouses like each other too.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it was fun.
Well, a big moment.
But
for
it was
you.
like, it was a big moment because it was like
Wow.
other people were there.
Right. Yeah, validating your husband can see you're not just making this up when you tell him.
exactly.
Yeah,
I also
that's
got
fun.
recognized at Chipotle this weekend too.
Oh,
So I'm just
wow.
racking them up at this point.
Gosh.
Racking
Power of
them
celebrity.
up.
What are you what you watching these days? What are you into?
I was thinking about this. I have not been watching that much stuff. Still into the Gilded Age.
Oh, yeah,
a lot
still
going
going on
down
that.
there. But haven't been watching as much stuff. What about
We
you?
started Lessons in Chemistry on
Oh, I am reading that book, so I'm waiting to watch that. So I'm
Okay.
done
Okay.
reading.
So are you through the book?
No.
Spoilers? No?
Still,
Yeah.
still there.
Okay. Well, I'm about halfway through the season.
I'm about halfway through the book.
Okay.
What's
I
happened
don't,
so
I don't
far?
want to spoilers, but she may have given birth. Is that too much of a spoiler?
No, that happened. That's already
That's
happened
pretty
in the book.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I am. She just
Okay.
gave birth. Or
Has
whatever.
she gotten her show yet?
She's been approached, but she
Okay.
has not accepted it.
Okay, that's exactly where I'm at.
Well, there you
Oh,
go.
Cool.
Are you a Brie Larson fan? Do you like Brie Larson?
She's okay. I don't know.
Yeah. I haven't watched. She's in the Marvel movie.
I'm not into Marvel.
I'm not into that either. I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of Brie Larson. She's in Nissan commercials too. I don't.
Hold on, I gotta Google her.
Do you know who she is?
Okay.
Yeah. She's very very pretty actress. I don't know that
How
we
old
would
do you
be,
think she is?
I don't know that we'd be friends in real life. How old?
Mm-hmm.
I bet she's 31,
34.
34.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's good.
Well-
You recommend it?
Thanks for playing. How old is this actress?
We
Lincoln
play
and
it
Lauren.
every episode.
Yeah, but you're reading it, so you're okay.
I'm
so
reading
you're
it.
Yeah, that'll be a good test. Probably better to read it first, and then
Yeah.
get in the show. I'm
Exactly.
not gonna go read it after this.
It's a good book.
Yeah, I'm sure. It reminded me. I guess is it kind of based on the who's a woman scientist that discovered the structure of DNA with X-ray crystallography? You don't know.
I have no idea.
She got cheated out of the Nobel Prize. Nobody's with me on this?
No, but in the Gilded Age, and I don't know whether this is true. I haven't fact checked it, but they are saying a woman designed and built the Brooklyn Bridge, but they couldn't advertise at the time because nobody would walk across it
If a woman had done
Right.
it. Yeah, well. I still don't cross bridges designed by women today. So don't cancel me, people. Fact check me on that.
Massiel, clip that.
Please do not. Fact check me on who the woman was that discovered the structure of DNA and that was cheated out of the Nobel Prize. Because I'm not lying on that.
Speaking of cheated,
yeah.
What I am doing is reading.
Oh.
I just had my book club book. I was in charge of like presenting on.
Hold on. You're in charge of the book club?
No, I am in a book club, and then every once in a while, you say books you want to read, and if you suggest the book, then you have to like talk about it.
Give a book report?
Yes, basically yes. You got to go in depth, the Wikipedia, the whole deal.
What book did you suggest to your book club?
A Christie Affair.
Oh,
do you know Agatha Christie? Have you heard of her?
The murder mystery novelist? Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay, so she is one of the best-selling novelists of all time.
All time.
Her book, And Then There Were None, was like 66 million books or something back in the day. Maybe more than that.
I don't even know that. She's the Murder on the Orient Express?
Yes.
I know that. I don't know And Then There Were None.
You don't know And Then There Were None?
I just
it's so good. I'm going to get it for you for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
It's like they go to this island and they all start dropping like flies.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And so then you're left with,
none.
None. But the Christie Affair is actually interesting. So she, like at a certain point in time in her career, right as her career was taking off, she disappeared for 11 days.
Oh, okay.
And nobody to this day still knows the true story about what happened. So a lot of people think it was like a publicity stunt because she got a lot of press after that and became really well known.
Makes sense.
But it was the first time they ever used like airplanes in a manhunt.
Oh.
She was all over all the papers.
They thought they were going to spot her from the air?
I guess. I don't know. They were just like, this is novel.
What happened to her? Is that a spoiler?
So her husband,
did she die?
No, she went on to be. She lived until the 70s.
They found her and still don't know what happened to her.
Because when they found her, she said she couldn't remember what happened, and so they're saying it's like this amnesia state that can happen, where you like are prone to traveling and you don't know what's happened. But basically, her husband had asked for a divorce right before, and then she disappeared. They found her at a hotel where she had checked in under her spouse's lover's last name.
Oh, so she knew who the mistress was.
Yeah, it was a friend of hers.
Oh.
And so
was she trying so maybe was she trying to kill the mistress?
Well, people think that she was trying to frame her own murder, like to get her husband in trouble or something like that, or just at least embarrass him.
And then she chickened out or something?
They found her. So
she couldn't pull it off in time?
Yeah. So exactly. So this book is a historical account of what happened during those 11 days, why it happened. It has a whole twists and turns, and it's quite good.
I see. Okay. Oh, no, this is I know what happened. This is obvious. Clearly, two birds with one stone. Your husband's having an affair. You want to burn her down. You need to raise some money for the divorce because you're going to be single soon. So
gotta launch your career.
Yeah, launch your career. You fake a disappearance, hype up them book sales, and then maybe along the way you could frame the mistress.
You sound like somebody who writes murder mysteries.
I've been writing my own murder mystery. How did you know? I'm writing. Yeah, I am for the second. This is serious. Like for the second year in a row, I'm writing a murder mystery for my family to play. It's a murder mystery game, dinner party game to play for Christmas.
I think, is it too late to YouTube this? Like you should have Chico film everybody.
No.
Yes, this would be awesome.
It's way too intrusive. And no, this is not possible. This is not possible. I have a lot.
I think that'd be a hit.
It was a hit last year.
Okay.
My wife was the murderer last year. Spoiler alert. This year, I can't say who. Okay. I probably could say who the murderer is. This episode's not coming out.
Can I guess who it is?
Yeah, please do. Please guess.
I think it's the Weissman.
Ike Weissman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all themed on. So all the characters. It's called Murder in Bethlehem. Mm-hmm. My wife's pregnant, so we're playing Mary and Joseph, but it's not, it's like modern day. Every character is kind of based on it. So one of the characters is Ike Weissman. He's like one of the three wise men, and he's an astrology professor. My brother's playing his part. He is not the killer.
He's not. Well, I didn't really like read through it all, just the picture.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Do you want to know who it is?
Yeah.
And why? Okay. So it is Gabe Angel.
Oh.
My brother-in-law, Rich, is the murderer. So what had happened was
last in, first out.
Yeah, exactly. So the plot is a local politician, Roman Shields, gets murdered at the hotel, the Hilton.
Who's playing that person?
No, that's just a
random
dead
person.
body.
Okay.
No one's playing the murder victim.
Okay.
But he was running for town mayor against Herod Kingston, played by my father.
Okay.
And so Herod's obvious suspect, right? But Gabe Angel was the secret backer of Ike Weissman's solar farm technology.
Okay.
That was fraudulent, right? So it was Ike Weissman faked the data. So the project was going to go under. Roman Shields figured it out because he had been publicly promoting the solar project because he's against, we
only have an hour here.
Sorry,
so.
This is complicated. He's all for green energy, which is in direct contrast to Herod Kingston, who owns the steel mill and is kind of old school guy.
Yeah, he's got kind of like billionaire vibes.
Yeah, he's kind of the magnate. The
billions vibes, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. So Roman Shields was going to go public with the fraud. And Beth Goldstein, she's the local spelling bee moderator. She figures it out because Gabe Angel has terrible spelling.
Okay.
And
she
that's the clue.
Kind of looks like Tina Fey.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
These AI generated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then there's a door-to-door Cutco salesman who supplies the knife that Gabe Angel.
Everybody's kind of like.
It's all tied together.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's got motive. It's all tied together. So he's and Gabe Angel is an illusionist. So he has sleight of hand. You know, he has these magic tricks. So he slips a knife from the door-to-door salesman, and he plants it.
This will be fun.
It's going to be pretty fun. We'll see. It went well last time. And that's why you subscribe to this podcast. I know, to hear about murder mysteries. We should get into some real estate topics.
Let's talk about it.
You want to talk real estate?
Let's talk real estate.
This week, we wanted to talk to you guys about one of our house flips that we did in the past. We get the question, what was your best flip ever?
I think this one, for a number of reasons.
By a mile. So if you've seen this episode on YouTube, this is the $1 million house flip. This is basically our largest project that we ever did, right?
Yeah, it was like our most successful flip. It was our most successful sponsorship wise, our episode, and it was our second highest views. So this all around winner. This is like the by a mile. By a mile, I would say. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the project itself.
Yeah. So this was one of these projects I love because it was basically an opportunity anybody could have done. So this was a house that was listed on the MLS. So it was just sitting out there for anyone to find. It was a house built in 1939 that was on a corner lot with an unpermitted duplex in the back. And so the house was facing one street, and because it was on the corner, the duplex was sort of facing another. So they naturally kind of looked like
two different lots,
two separate addresses.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so the house itself was scheduled to be demolished. That's how bad a shape it was in. You remember walking this thing for the first time?
Yeah, no, it had been abandoned for a decade.
Right.
10 years before we bought it. So it was like in that time, animals, and I remember I think it got bug bombed 2 or 3 times before I visited it, and it was still like,
you would get fleas jumping on you anytime that you went onto the property, not just the house, but the yard. You would get fleas, and then inside the house, there was a whole colony of raccoons that were living in this thing. Raccoon feces everywhere, and fleas just jumping on you. Yeah. Massiel's grossed out. So yeah, we had to bug bomb it multiple times to even like get in there to film. So that was the starting place.
That was where we started from. And because it was in this historic neighborhood, one, it's a super desirable neighborhood that people are wanting to move into. But also because it was historic, we had some like parameters around. You couldn't just knock this thing down and build new.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not true.
We could have?
We could have. Yeah. No. We could have. So that wasn't the limiting factor. They had already done that work. So you're right that it was historically protected, but the previous owners thought that no one would want to buy it without the demolition permit.
Okay.
So they had gone and they had gotten the approvals to actually demolish it, and they were marketing it as a teardown.
Okay, then why didn't we tear it down?
Ask myself that every day. Well, I to be honest, in hindsight, I think we probably like that. I think we would have made more money had we just torn it down. You could have built 2 units, and directly beside it was someone who had done exactly that. It was an A unit and a B unit on the same lot, new construction. It was big and gorgeous. And we drove past it every day. And I looked at this thing and I thought, is that what we're supposed to be doing with this? Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah. But we didn't. Because I don't know. I thought the house itself had just the tiniest ounce of charm.
Oh, it did. It had the swoopy roof. Like, it was real cute.
It was really cute, but it was super complicated because basically the original 1939 house was less than 1,000 square feet. This thing had been added onto twice. So they built off of the back of it and then they built up a second story. So complicating the rehab of the property, the front half of the house was all on pier and beam. So it was these 100-year-old, almost, 90-year-old beams going down in the ground. And then the back half of it was a slab. So it was two different foundation types. And that was probably the hardest thing, is just to get the project going. Stabilizing the foundation on the front end was a massive undertaking. We had to swap out beams. We took this thing down to the studs basically to accomplish that.
Yeah.
And found a giant tree root ball buried off of the front half of the house that we basically had to dig it up, get chainsaws in there, and then basically pull it out with a truck. We had to strap chains around it. Do we have a picture
of that somewhere? We got to throw a picture of that because it was insanely large.
It was a massive undertaking. But we got it done.
Got it done.
And we rehabbed the house. I think, what did you think about the front facade of the house? Because we kept a little bit of the roof swoop, but we altered it.
I thought it was super cute. Unlike people on the internet, I thought this was like one of our best aesthetic flips, mostly because it was a high-end house where we could use really nice materials. We did metal roof. We did some really interesting design features inside. We had that fireplace surround where we had the angled wood, which was super cool. Redid the kitchen, put in a pantry underneath the stairs. Like, we had some really unique elements to that house. And we were talking about it this morning. That house gets more hate on the internet than any of them.
People absolutely hated that we altered in any way the front it's almost like a steeple, this pointy roof that comes out over the front porch that went all the way down on both sides. And we sort of altered one side to put a front porch off of it. People lost their minds.
The people of the internet are not happy about it. I think it's cute looking.
We also put like a stone facade on that. People hated it. I'm convinced that it looked really good, and the better our projects look, the more hate we get because people just want to dunk on them for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe it's why people hate celebrities too. Like, they're just so good looking that everyone's like, I'm gonna hate on them. This house was good looking. People are gonna hate on it.
That's why I don't like Brie Larson. It's just like, she's too good looking. You can't be a nice person. I'm sorry.
Don't trust that.
Sorry, Brie, if you're watching this. People really loved it, but it turned out really good, the aesthetics.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But, what do I know?
In the $1 million house, what year was it flipped?
2019, I think.
It had to be 2020. These were back in the days when offers were coming in hot and fast because...
Yeah, let's talk about the numbers on this because the market was... good.
Crazy for this thing. So, first of all, the whole thing, the reason I say this was an opportunity anybody could have done was because it was on the MLS and it just took
2021. What do I know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would have said 2021 because that was the year prices really went nuts as well.
Prices how?
So in 2021 saw probably the fastest home price appreciation in the Austin market and generally in the real estate market in the last 20 years by a mile. I mean, in some places prices jumped like 20-30% in a single year. And when we went to sell...
Well, and it was a combination of pent-up pandemic demand with low interest rates. Exactly. Money was cheap and available, and people took advantage of that.
Yeah, people were buying up houses right and left because they wanted more space. They wanted home office. They wanted home gym because they'd been living through it all. And they had, to your point, they had savings from, underspending during COVID because they weren't out traveling about.
And a lot of people had flexibility with their jobs so they could move wherever they wanted. So Austin saw a huge influx of people from more expensive areas like California that were coming here, driving up the price.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the buyers of this house, they paid all cash for it. So this was in one of the most expensive parts of town. So this was in Travis Heights, just directly south of downtown, really close to downtown, premium neighborhood. And what we ended up doing is we put in a condo regime for the property so that we could sell the front house and the back duplex separate from each other.
Let's talk about what is a condo regime. What does that mean?
Well, glad you asked, Lauren. So a condo regime is when you put in place an agreement between common owners of a property where they have individual rights to parts of that property. So obviously this is common in condo buildings, but you can actually do this on individual lots. So the city of Austin won't let you subdivide a lot into a smaller legal lot that you could then sell off, but you can condoize it. So basically you can sell the rights to half of the property and sell the other half of that property independent of that. And then the owners of both of those collectively own that parcel, and they have to collectively pay the taxes. They have to agree on all these sort of common, HOA type things of how they're going to manage that collectively. And so we set up a condo regime to basically put in place that agreement so that when you bought either the A unit or the B unit, you knew ahead of time what you were agreeing to when you bought that property. So that's what we did with this one. And it worked particularly well because the way it was positioned on this lot. So we ended up selling off the back half. The back half, we did very little to fix up.
Yeah, we wanted to make a video about it, but it was not worth it.
And the problem with the back half, I think in today's market that's like slower and more demanding, I don't know that you could get away with selling that back unit. It was very small. It was basically 2 units that were only like 500 or 600 square feet each. And the idea was that it would be sort of a rental unit and income producing, maybe for the person that bought the A unit, but maybe for just an investor, or you could do it as a short-term rental. But there really wasn't enough room to build a new B unit and get your money out of that. So we sold it as is, as just rental. And I was a little nervous. That was definitely harder to sell than the house. The house flew off the shelf, but that B unit was tricky.
So yeah, let's talk about sort of the numbers for the whole project. Because as we mentioned at the top, like this was a really good project in and of itself.
Right.
So purchase price was $770. That was for both units.
Right. That was for the full thing.
When was the second unit built? Do you remember? I mean, the first one was like 1939. But
1939. It was almost as old.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was super old. And it had been redone a couple times. And I think the second story was added to it as well. But it was very old.
Okay. So purchase $770, remodel. This one was expensive, $520,000.
Yeah.
Basically took it down to the studs. As I mentioned, it was top of the line, everything.
It was basically a whole brand new house, including framing, the exterior, the metal roof. And we went really high end with it too, because it was a premium property. So yeah, it was very expensive. And that also included the rehab on the back unit, which we did spend. I don't know how much of that was the back unit.
Mostly paint and stuff like
that.
It
was like a little bit of paint. We did have to do some repairs, but I bet we still spent maybe $40,000 or $50,000 on just that back unit, getting it livable.
Yeah. Okay. So total investment in the project, 1.29, and then sold the main house first.
Yeah, I think we sold no, I can't remember which one we sold first.
You just said you had a hard time selling the back unit and that the front unit flied.
Well,
fact checking you on the spot.
Well, that's true, because we got the back unit listed first because we didn't have to do much to it.
Okay.
So I don't remember the exact time.
So back house sold for
$430,000 for a really dinky B unit duplex.
But to get into that neighborhood, there's nothing even close to that price point. So it's kind of one of those.
No, and you're so close to downtown. I mean, the rent on each of those units still was probably $1,500 to $2,000 per unit.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
still a good deal. Seems ridiculous, but.
Yeah. Well, it was ridiculous.
And then the main house actually sold for $155,000. So total was $198,000. And after closing costs, profit of $591,000.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
Those were the days, man. If it could all be like that, it would be insane. Yeah. And I think we originally underwrote probably $200,000 or $300,000 less than that.
Yeah.
We got, we sold the front house. We listed it. Let's see. We listed it for 1.2 or 1.3. And the very first week we got an exploding offer on it. Somebody offered
What's an exploding offer?
An exploding offer is when you're really worried that someone else is going to come in and make an offer above yours. So you say, my offer explodes. It expires at, midnight or this 5 p.m. on this certain day.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. I want you to show this to no one else. I'll make you
the best offer.
The best offer you're going to get, but you have to take it right now. And we did. Somebody said, hey, I think this thing's going to go really quickly. I don't want anybody else to see it. I want to offer you basically $250,000 more than what it's listed for.
That is so crazy.
But you have to take it right now.
Yeah, take it. Take it, money and run. Yep. Every time.
So we did. We took it. And I think, realistically.
And it was cash, right?
It was a cash offer. Yeah. Very quick close. It was a hell of a deal. And, the question when you take an exploding offer is, are you leaving money on the table? This offer is expiring. They want me to take it right away. They want pressure on me. The only reason they do that is if they're worried about a better offer coming along.
True.
So you really got to weigh the pros and cons of doing that. I think
it's like a bird in the hand versus.
Right. I think the flip side to that too, and why that's sort of a game of chicken between you and the buyer is because if you go through that first weekend and you don't walk out of it with multiple offers and offers that are better than theirs, and you come back to them, suddenly
they're going to know.
They're going to know. And that exploding offer is not going to be what it was before. It's going to be much less. So you're playing a little bit of a game of chicken here. And, you can say we chickened out, or you could say we took the bird in hand, you know. And, my rule for real estate is you can never go broke taking a profit. So, this was basically double the outcome that we thought we could get out of it for a lot of work. I was ready to be done with the
house,
thing because it had given us so much trouble on the construction side. I think we made the right move, to be honest.
Yep. And also it was a great house in that we had that property when it snowed in Austin.
Yeah.
So we got some awesome photos of the house in the snow.
I got to always be marketing. And it looks great in these pictures. It looks like we're in a different market.
Like Wisconsin or something.
I know.
Very fun.
Let's talk about the video on it.
Yeah, let's talk about the video.
It did really well.
Yeah, it's our second highest performing video.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah,
check up the views.
It's the second highest behind
1.95.
Wow. So almost 2 million people have watched this episode.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
That's crazy. One view for every dollar revenue from this project.
We did a podcast episode about the 5K house where we said we made more in media revenue than that house was worth.
Yeah, this is not the case.
We got a long way to go to make up that much revenue on this one, but it did really well. And
again, the clickbaity title, right? So everybody loves titles with a little bit of money or a lot of money.
Yeah, right. $1 million, put it in there.
That was a little bit of a stretch. Also.
Well, no,
the house was worth $1 million.
No, we spent, what did we say? We spent
520
on the rehab.
Well, true. Plus,
but we had to buy the house. Yeah. So our total investment was 1.29.
Okay. There you go.
It's not clickbait, Lauren. We delivered the goods.
But this was also a great video for us because we just talk about selling out. We threw the kitchen sink at this video.
Yeah. It was such a big project from a capital standpoint that basically instead of doing 2 or 3 smaller projects, we did one, which meant instead of having 2 or 3 videos, we had one really big one. So we kind of had to sell out.
And we we thought it would perform well too. Yeah. So we wanted to get the sponsors on a good video. But yeah, this was crazy. So we had Simply Safe as the title sponsor, and we did a lot of videos with them, including 5K House. So they got some winners.
They got a hell of a deal.
But we worked with this couple out of Canada. They have a furniture website, I guess, and a store.
Yeah, they have a physical store and they sell furniture online. It's called LD Shop.
Yeah, they're really good stuff.
Super cute stuff. We followed them on Instagram. They're kind of influencer furniture folks. So they made it for a good collaboration. Go check out LD Shop. They're still in business. And really cute stuff still. So shout out them.
Very, very cool. But yeah, they donated the lighting for this project, which I think also elevated the design of this house. It was really nicer fixtures than we would have put in for sure. Looked good. And then we also had Extra Space Storage approach us. They wanted us to do some side videos for them.
Yeah, they didn't want to actually sponsor the video in the main channel. They wanted us to create separate content to live on their channel, which was perfect, right? Because it didn't take up the sponsorship slot on that video.
Yeah, so we were able to shout them out in the video and direct people to those side videos. And then the last thing that we squeezed in
sold
there
out again? Well, who else did we sell?
was this heated towel rack.
Oh my God. The heated towel rack.
So
I forgot about this stupid thing.
had like somebody had approached us years before. Like it was
like when we first started, someone sent us, they said, hey, if we send you this heated towel rack, will you use it in a project?
And he was like, yeah, sure.
Sure, I guess. Send it to us. We'll try it out.
Yeah. But then we just could not find the right project.
Well, as it turns out, putting in a heated towel rack is more trouble than it's worth.
You've got to get a special electric.
You've got to run electric to plug this stupid thing in. And if you're not, and typically we're not rewiring the entire house, and we're certainly not going to pay an electrician to run a singular wire with a dedicated circuit just for a heated towel rack.
Well, and it only snows once every 10 years. So
it's totally not necessary. And so they sent us this heated towel rack that I'm sure is a great towel rack, but y'all, they would not leave us alone about.
They would email us once a week. When was this towel rack going to be featured?
They wanted a return on their investment, and I don't blame them. You know, you give.
Well, they got it 2 million views on this thing.
They got 2 million views for their heated towel rack. It made sense because we were rewiring this whole house. We were like, oh, and it's high end, perfect. We'll put in your stupid heated towel rack. Sorry, y'all. I love people that sponsor us. I love people that give us materials, but they were so persistent with this towel rack.
They were.
They got their money's worth.
They did. Yeah. So it was a great video from a sponsorship perspective and a performance perspective. So yeah, that was like an all around home run project.
It was a home run project, but I will say this. I will not be doing any more projects like that anytime soon because, you know, if I were advising people on, you know, which projects to start with to get, you know, this was probably not the project that you want to start house flipping with because it had so many complications. It made a lot of money because it required so much time and effort to get there. It was a historic house. It was, you know, it had all sorts of complexities from the renovation was just a nightmare.
Well, and abandoned for 10 years. Also, all the add-ons over time.
Exactly.
Terrible. You know, you don't know when that work, if that work was permitted. You know, it wasn't the same standards as today. So it's like a hornet's nest to get into some of these older houses.
Totally. And putting in a condo regime is a great play, but you also need a great lawyer and you need to know what you're doing on that. And you need to know that you can actually market the property as a condo regime. So, you know, there's some risk and complexity involved there that, you know, I don't know that I would advise a beginner to do. So, you know, I'll just say, like, I think you can make...
And the market is very different. There's no exploding offers in 2023.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you couldn't probably get away with that same thing where, you know, you basically put lipstick on a pig on the back unit all to carve off and sell the front unit. You couldn't get away with that in this market. They would both have to be, you know,
premium
products. Like, you know, so I think there's a lot of risk involved in this one. It's not just as easy as like, oh, you know, we made a lot of money.
Although I will say the price point of this one is probably less risky today, just because most people at this price are cash buyers and are less affected by interest rates. And so,
totally,
you know, as far as resale goes in today's environment, you know, people still want to live in Travis Heights at the end of the day. So
yeah, totally. And my friends that are sort of luxury realtors in the Austin market have said something like 75% of their premium listings, i.e., you know, houses $2 million and above, are going to all cash buyers because they don't need to finance it. They've got the cash. They don't want to pay the high interest rate. So, you know, it is a niche segment. And you know, the high-end luxury flip market has always been feast or famine, I think, for folks. It's high risk, high reward because you can really get out over your skis fast. You're highly concentrated in single project or just a few projects. So you got to really know what you're doing. And those buyers that buy luxury properties are the pickiest. So, you know, where you might be able to get away with a few little, you know, boo-boos here, little oopsies there on a lower end project and be forgiven in that market, those high-end luxury buyers are not forgiving on those products. they're spending top dollar. They expect a premium product. So you really got to know what you're doing on the execution for those things to make money in them.
So if you're going to do a project today, what kind of project would you do?
So if I were starting a project today, I would not start with a high-end luxury home. I would start for these bread and butter, singles, doubles kind of projects. We're talking, projects that were built after 1970, 3-bed, 2-bath, between 1,200 and 2,500 square feet. These are the exact kind of projects that we put our clients in HomeAid. For this reason, they're simple, they're repeatable, they're reliable.
They're fast.
They're fast. They have consistent returns, and they don't have a ton of operational complexity, and they don't have a ton of buyer risk on the back end. There are plenty of buyers for these things, and they have much less permitting risk. So overall, they're a much safer, more reliable investment. And once you get a little bit of you get a few notches in your belt, then you can work your way to more complicated plays like this $1 million house flip where you're condoizing the lot, you're taking on a complicated rehab, you're doing it in a premium luxury part of town. But we did several projects for years before we tackled a project of this scale and complexity.
Yep.
And it worked out.
You don't go broke taking a profit.
That's right.
So I have a few things.
All right.
So the person you had me look up.
Fact check.
Rosalind Franklin.
Yes.
Rosalind Franklin. And then I have a newbie real estate question.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So someone who hasn't bought a house, how does cash offer work? Like, are people like mulling like suitcases of cash, or like you go to bank? How does the bank
Just
work?
like what's that duck McDuckerson or that
Scrooge McDuck?
Just like Scrooge McDuck, they're opening up a briefcase full of stacks of cash.
No. That's so antiquated. Today,
it's Bitcoin.
It's a thumb drive with Bitcoin on it. And you have to verify it by plugging in the USB. No, so the way a cash offer works today is a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Really, it's not necessarily all cash, although it can be. So when somebody's making you a cash offer, really they're just saying, this offer isn't contingent on me getting financing from a bank. More often than not, they're liquidating funds to come up with that cash. Sometimes they're getting a private lender that lends on that property, so they're still getting a loan on it, but they don't have the right to back out of that property because of the financing contingency that they would with a normal 30-year mortgage. So they may still have a loan on it. They may do it all cash, or they may take it down all cash and put a loan on it after the fact. But really, when someone's saying this is a all cash offer, that just means I don't have a financing contingency on it.
And so from a seller's perspective, an all cash offer is a better offer because there's not the risk that it will fall through if you don't get the financing. So in a normal offer, if you're getting a loan, you would say, hey, I'll buy this house for $400,000 contingent on the fact that I get a loan for $350,000 or whatever your loan amount is. The bank could then say, no, sorry, we're not going to give you that. And that offer is no good anymore. Whereas with a cash offer, you're saying, I'm buying this for $400,000 no matter what. Mm-hmm. So it's like a safer offer.
Yeah.
From the seller's perspective.
And to backtrack just a hair, so going back to the $1 million house, so you had mentioned at the beginning that the back lot was constructed illegally. Is that what did you mean by that part?
Yeah, exactly. So the back half was an unpermitted duplex, meaning they had built the back part of that lot, but they didn't go to the city and get the proper permits on it, right? And so a lot of the times, something that's been like that forever and ever gets grandfathered in. So it's a non-conforming use, meaning it doesn't match the zoning of it, but it's been around for so long that you kind of get away with it, which is a riskier proposition too. And so if the person buying that had to be okay with knowing, eventually the city could, ask me to modify this or tear it down or whatever. I think the play with the person that bought the back half of that lot, or if I were buying that and thinking, what's my risk reward? Really the value in that was in the land. So the structure itself was worth very little. The only value that structure had was in the cash flow that it could produce, basically in the interim between when you bought it and then when you ultimately tore that thing down. Basically, one day, once someone put together the capital or it had appreciated enough, someone's going to tear down that back unit and build a nice, second unit to the lot back there for somebody to live in. But in the meantime, you get a little bit of cash flow, and it's really sort of an appreciation play for the land.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for answering my questions.
Yeah, of course.
I like Massiel's real estate newbie.
I know.
On the back
Love
half.
it.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us for this episode of the Austin Flipsters podcast. If you're not subscribed to the Austin Flipsters podcast, what are you doing with your life? You're making some very poor life choices, but no judgment, judgment-free zone. But please subscribe to the Austin Flipsters podcast, and I guess we'll catch you guys in episode 7.
All right. Peace.
Peace.